After a 6-10 record in the 1995 season, the 1996 New England Patriots were looking to turn their franchise around, and that's exactly what we're going to talk about today and how 1996 was actually the start of the New England Patriots dynasty over the NFL.
It sure was. Their offense put up 5,369 total yards with 418 total points. They had 42 total touchdowns, which is kind of insane. They had 27 turnovers, and when it comes to their passing, they had 4,086 total yards, 27 touchdowns, only 15 interceptions, and a 60% completion rate, which, again, is also it's very good stats. You can't complain with that at all. That's great. And they also had 1,468 rushing yards with 15 rushing touchdowns. Not to mention that this season they also made it to the Super Bowl, which is they were only what 11 and 5, 11 and 6, which it's not like an amazing record. It's still a playoff record, but to go to the Super Bowl is something that's very crazy. And the quarterback that led them to that Super Bowl was Drew Bledsoe, not Tom Brady. And I'll have Mason talk about him a little bit.
Yep, and we talk about quarterback Drew Bledsoe. He had a 60% completion percentage. He had 4,086 yards, a 27 to 15 touchdown interception ratio. He was a dog. All right, 60% completion is good in the NFL in the 1990s. You got to remember this is not modern era. They're not going to be throwing 70% or 5,000 yards. And then if you look at their rushing leader, Curtis Martin had 1,152 yards, 14 touchdowns, 333 yards receiving, and 3 receiving touchdowns. So he was obviously a dual threat. You have to worry about him in the pass game and in the run game. And then you jump into their receiving leaders. I'll go through their wide receiver and tight end, which was Sean Jefferson and Ben Coates. Sean Jefferson recorded 771 yards for 4 touchdowns, and Ben Coates recorded 682 yards for 9 touchdowns.
Now, when you think of the Patriots offense, especially a Super Bowl team for the Patriots, you'll be thinking Tom Brady, maybe Randy Moss. I don't know if that team went to the Super Bowl necessarily, but he was there for a bit. Maybe Danny Amendola, and obviously Rob Gronkowski when it comes to tight end. None of those players were on this team, obviously, because it was before their time. But, there was more to the Patriots than just Tom Brady, which is why we're making this video, because the dynasty didn't start with Tom Brady. It started here in this season. After this season, between here and 2020, which was the first season they had without Tom Brady, they had one losing season. One in 24 years, which is an absurd stat. And frankly, we'll probably not see that for a very, very long time. And yeah, this team was insane. They were great, and even their defense was good too. We're talking about their offense, but you don't stop and look at their defense. They had only let up, I guess not only let up, but they let up 5,305 yards, which is a lot, but they only let up 313 points on that many yards. They had 34 total defensive takeaways, 11 of them from fumbles and 23 from interceptions, which, I mean, that's, again, they had a great defense. They let up a lot of yards, but they did not let up points. And they had 33 total sacks as well, which is also very good. They let up 3,800 passing yards, 17 passing touchdowns, and a 54 completion rate to them, which is pretty not great stats to let up, honestly, yards-wise. But, again, only 17 touchdowns scored on them passing-wise. That's one a game. Like, you can't complain with that at all.
Yeah.
And then rushing, they allowed 1,500 total yards with 14 rushing touchdowns, which is less than one a game, which, again, is a very great stat. I'll let Mason take over a little bit here.
All right, so just as a for like looking into the future, that was awful. They went 10-6 the year after, so obviously not missing a step. I'm going to go over their best win, and I'm going to leave their worst loss to Brody. But in their best win on December 1st, 1996, they played the San Diego Chargers, and they won 45-7 with 229 passing yards and 84 rush yards. And you're like, well, Mason, their offense didn't really play that well. let's look at their defense. They only allowed 236 total yards for 6 turnovers and only allowed 1 TD. Now, that's a defense you want to have on your team. That's a defense that is going to win you games, and that's exactly what they did there, obviously giving their offense a lot more, or probably amazing field position in that game. And I'm just going to hand it over to the worst loss for Brody.
All right. And when you look at the worst loss, he was just talking up their defense, and that was against the Chargers in 1996. But their worst loss was on November 17th against the Broncos.
I'm calling the president. President, we need a National Guard. We need as many men as you can spare because we are killing the Patriots. So call the dogs off. Send the National Guard, please. They need emergency help. Please help these folks. They're coming. Help is on the way. Help is on the way. Help is on the way, I promise you. The president, I called the National Guard. Okay. He said to the National Guard, help is on the way, I promise you. In 10 minutes, help will be here. In 10 minutes. Okay, you coming. We understand. He coming. They sending help.
And this is the John Elway-led Broncos. So if you can't guess what happened, their defense let up 422 total yards, 224 from passing, 198 from rushing, and 4 total touchdowns. Very, very rough display. Offensively, they only had 201 passing yards and 17 rushing yards. They had 1 turnover on offense, which is actually pretty good considering that they were probably just passing the ball the entire game trying to catch up. But yeah, they had a very, very rough game against the Broncos. But that was their worst loss, and they don't really have any that were even close to that. Most of their losses were within a score or 2, maybe. And also a lot of their wins were also very close to. I should mention that. This team was a very, they competed very equally to most teams they played. And very balanced team. It's I don't know who you'd compare it to today, but they probably weren't dominating the league at this point like they did.
Modern day Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Yeah, I think that's fair. Yeah, they're the equivalent to the current Tampa Bay Buccaneers, but they weren't dominating the league like they were maybe 10 years after this, which is when they were just winning like it was nothing. But yeah, do you have anything else to add, Mason? We're at 7 minutes in this video. Short.
All I can say is some people will overlook the season and be like, well, Tom Brady wasn't playing, Bill Belichick wasn't the coach, right? Yeah. But Bill Belichick's first season as the head coach was that one losing season between 1996 and 2020. So, what I'm trying to say here is that this is where the dynasty starts. You get winning seasons consistently after this. So you're looking at a team that is on a trending route to take over the league, and it started here, not when Tom Brady came into the league, and that's just my point here. They looked amazing here. They're gonna look amazing in the future, and that's how it was. Mm-hmm. That's how it happened.
And by the future, he means up till 2020. They do not look amazing now. This is post week 3. The Jets loss was hilarious. Watching the Patriots struggle again. Gotta love that. Anyways, though, we're gonna wrap this one up here. If you like what you watched, we'll do videos like this every Saturday. So just be looking out for those. Turn on notifications, like, comment, subscribe, do it all. We'll love you till the day you die if you do. And yeah, look out for these every Saturday, every Tuesday or Wednesday. We'll have weekly recaps out, and then every Thursday before the night game, we'll have our weekly predictions out, and then we'll have shorts coming out throughout the week, obviously. And yeah, so thank you so much for watching. If you made it to this point, comment the word ice cream sandwich, I guess. I don't know. But yeah, thank you so much for watching, and yeah, we'll see you in the next one.
Of course, you think about ice cream sandwiches, Brody.
Yeah. Shut up, Mason. All right, we'll see you in the next one.
Yep, later.